It was the revelation that stopped everyone in their tracks, leaving fans of love and hip-hop reeling. After years of whispers, shade, and silent tension, Rasheeda Frost has finally spoken, and what she revealed shattered every rumor and assumption. For so long, people had speculated about the storm brewing between her husband, Kirk Frost, and the woman who once turned their world upside down, Jasmine Blue. Now the truth has surfaced, and it's far more explosive than anyone imagined. What began as subtle jealousy and quiet resentment spiraled into betrayal, heartbreak, and chaos. Behind the cameras and glitz of reality TV, something dark had been festering for years. And when it finally surfaced, it tore through everything. Rasheeda had built her marriage, her brand, and her peace. The confrontation that unfolded inside her home wasn't just another dramatic scene. It was the breaking point of a feud years in the making. Fans are asking the same haunting question. Was Jasmine's shocking outburst a desperate plea for closure or a calculated move meant to destroy everything Rasheeda represents? One thing's for sure. The drama has crossed every boundary between reality and performance. This isn't a storyline anymore. It's raw emotion, revenge, and pain, playing out in real time. And while the internet debates who's right or wrong, both women now face the consequences of years of silence and suppressed resentment. The world has just witnessed the unthinkable, and it's only the beginning. For years, the tension between Rasheeda Frost and Jasmine Blue simmered beneath the surface like a slow-burning fuse. It wasn't just another reality TV rivalry. It was personal, emotional, and deeply rooted in insecurity and pride. On one side stood Rasheeda, the composed, business-savvy wife and mother, known for turning pain into power. On the other, Jasmine Blue, bold, outspoken, and unfiltered, a woman unafraid to challenge anyone who crossed her. Their clash wasn't simply about fame, it was about identity, validation, and the man caught in the middle, Kirk Frost. To the public, they looked like polar opposites. Rasheeda, the face of elegance and perseverance. Jasmine, the unapologetic rebel who refused to be forgotten. But behind the polished interviews and Instagram posts, resentment grew like poison. Jasmine reportedly felt overshadowed, trapped in Rasheeda's shadow while the world painted her as the eternal villain. Every season, every headline, every fan comment reminded her of what she'd lost and who had won. Rasheeda, meanwhile, stayed silent, choosing grace over gossip. But silence can cut deeper than words, and for Jasmine, that quiet confidence became unbearable. By 2024, the hostility was no longer subtle. It was visible in every sideways glance, every cold encounter on set, every forced smile at cast events. Insiders described the energy between them as toxic, with producers scrambling to keep them apart. Everyone knew something was bound to erupt. What no one knew was how far it would go. Beneath the lights, behind the fame, two women stood, locked in a battle neither could walk away from, a battle that would soon explode in front of the entire world. The whispers began long before the cameras ever caught a hint of tension. In Atlanta's tight-knit music and reality TV circles, rumors about Jasmine Blue's resentment toward Rasheeda Frost spread like wildfire. Some said it started as simple envy. Others believed it ran much deeper. To many insiders, the real spark ignited the moment Jasmine realized she would always be compared to Rasheeda, the woman who seemed to have everything she desired. Rasheeda had the family, the thriving brand, the loyal fans, and perhaps most painfully, the love of Kirk Frost. Every success Rasheeda celebrated became a quiet reminder of Jasmine's own losses. And while the world cheered for Rasheeda's resilience, Jasmine saw only her own exclusion. Sources close to her say she felt painted into a corner, labeled the villain in a story that never told her side. The more the public embraced Rasheeda, the more isolated Jasmine became. Online comments, gossip blogs, and fan theories kept the tension alive, fueling a fire Jasmine couldn't extinguish. Over time, Bitterness replaced hurt, and her frustration morphed into obsession. To her, Rasheeda wasn't just a rival. She was the symbol of everything Jasmine believed had been stolen from her. It wasn't fame she wanted, it was validation. And as the years passed, that unspoken jealousy turned into something far more dangerous: the determination to make Rasheeda feel the same pain she'd endured in silence. Jasmine Blue's history with Kirk Frost wasn't a secret. It was the scandal that rocked love and hip-hop, Atlanta to its core. Their entanglement unfolded in front of millions, blurring the line between reality and chaos. It began with flirtation, spiraled into betrayal, and left an entire fan base divided. Kirk, a man already known for controversy, found himself in the center of one of the most explosive storylines in the show's history. For Rasheeda, it was public humiliation at its worst. Cameras captured every tear, every argument, every attempt to rebuild trust while the world watched and judged. But while Rasheeda found a way to rise again, Jasmine never truly escaped the shadow of that affair. Even as new seasons came and went, her name remained attached to the Frost family drama like a scar that wouldn't fade. To some, she was the unapologetic other woman. Ours to others, a broken soul chasing love in all the wrong places. But behind the gossip and editing tricks, Jasmine's pain was real. She felt discarded, blamed, and erased while the Frosts rebuilt their image. And with each episode that celebrated their marriage's recovery, Jasmine felt her own worth diminish. The resentment grew quietly but relentlessly, feeding off old wounds and unfinished emotions. What fans saw as a storyline was, for Jasmine, a deep emotional spiral that never ended. By the time the cameras moved on, the damage was already permanent, and the seeds of vengeance had been planted, waiting for the perfect moment to bloom. By the time 2024 arrived, the tension between Rasheeda Frost and Jasmine Blue had evolved from silent rivalry to open hostility. What once simmered quietly beneath the surface now lingered in every public appearance, every interview, every fan encounter. The two women rarely crossed paths, but when they did, the atmosphere was thick enough to cut. Castmates whispered that producers had to separate them during filming just to avoid another scene. Rasheeda kept her composure, but insiders say she could sense the storm approaching. Jasmine, meanwhile, was spiraling between regret and rage, her emotions clashing like lightning in a bottle. She'd convinced herself that Rasheeda's continued success came at her expense, that her own name was being buried so Rasheeda's could shine brighter. Every endorsement deal, every viral moment, every happy family photo posted by Rasheeda online reignited the bitterness Jasmine tried to suppress. The feud had grown beyond two women. It had become a symbol of envy, pride, and the pressure of public judgment. And as months passed, the distance between them felt more like a ticking time bomb. Everyone around them sensed it. Something had to give. No one knew when, but everyone knew how this story would end. With an explosion neither woman could walk away from unchanged. It was supposed to be a peaceful evening. Rasheeda Frost had invited a few close friends, business partners, and family members to her Atlanta home, a space she considered sacred, a refuge from all the noise outside. Laughter filled the air, music played softly, and for a brief moment, life felt normal. But then, without warning, Jasmine Blue appeared at the door. Uninvited, unexpected, unwelcome. No one knew exactly why she came or what she wanted. Some claimed she sought closure. Others believed she was there for confrontation. The moment she stepped inside, the atmosphere changed. Conversations stopped. Faces froze. Rasheeda, visibly unsettled, asked her to leave, but Jasmine refused. Her tone was sharp, her eyes blazing with years of unresolved anger. Old wounds reopened instantly. Words turned sharp, then cruel. Jasmine accused Rasheeda of pretending to be perfect, while knowing the truth about Kirk's betrayals. She mocked Rasheeda's image, her success, even her marriage, saying it was all a facade built for cameras. Witnesses described Rasheeda as calm but shaken, trying to keep her composure while Jasmine's voice echoed through the room. Tension reached a breaking point, the kind that makes everyone hold their breath. And then, just like that, the argument erupted beyond words. What began as a heated exchange was about to cross into dangerous territory, one that no amount of editing or apology could ever undo. What happened next was chaos, raw, unfiltered, and irreversible. Witnesses say the argument between Rasheeda and Jasmine went from verbal to violent in a matter of seconds. Jasmine's voice grew louder, her body language aggressive as she stepped closer to Rasheeda, ignoring every attempt by friends to de-escalate. Rasheeda, known for her calm and composure, tried to walk away. But Jasmine wasn't having it. She grabbed Rasheeda's arm, and that one gesture flipped the entire energy of the room. Drinks spilled, chairs scraped, and phones came out. Everyone knew this was about to be bad. Rasheeda turned around, demanding Jasmine back off, but Jasmine pushed again, this time harder. The sound of glass breaking silenced the music. Screams filled the room. Someone shouted for security, but by then, the damage had begun. In a blur of movement, Rasheeda shoved Jasmine away, trying to protect herself, but Jasmine lunged forward, grabbing her hair. What followed was seconds of chaos that felt like minutes. Furniture overturned, people trying to pull them apart, and the sound of a scream echoing through the house. By the time they were separated, both women were shaken, breathless and furious. Rasheeda's friends were shielding her, while Jasmine was yelling about betrayal and lies, her words slurred by emotion. Security finally dragged Jasmine out of the house, still shouting, still vowing that Rasheeda would feel what she felt. Everyone stood in stunned silence, trying to process what just unfolded. The night that began with celebration had ended in disaster. And though the physical confrontation was over, what came next would be far more destructive, because the cameras weren't the only ones watching. By the next morning, the fight was no longer a private matter, it was viral. Someone from the party had filmed the entire confrontation on their phone, and within hours, the footage began circulating on social media. The clip, shaky but clear enough to identify both women, exploded across gossip pages and entertainment blogs. Rasheeda versus Jasmine Blue, the Atlanta showdown, became the #1 trending topic overnight. Fans picked sides instantly. Some blamed Jasmine for showing up uninvited. Others accused Rasheeda of finally snapping after years of silent provocation. Kirk Frost's name was dragged back into the mix, reigniting the scandal he thought was long buried. The video spread faster than damage control could keep up. Brands called Rasheeda's team demanding clarity, while Jasmine's reps stayed silent. Even cast members who weren't there began posting cryptic reactions, fanning the flames further. What made it worse was the audio, Jasmine's voice yelling accusations about Kirk and hidden truths Rasheeda never wanted public. By noon, thousands of comments flooded in, turning a private breakdown into public humiliation. For Rasheeda, the betrayal wasn't just the fight. It was knowing that someone in her own circle filmed it for clout. And for Jasmine, the viral fame she'd chased for years had finally arrived, but in the worst way imaginable. The internet erupted like wildfire. Within minutes of the fight footage hitting Instagram and X, fans across the globe were dissecting every frame, every shout, every gesture. Hashtags like Rasheeda vs. Jasmine and the Atlanta house battle trended for days. Some fans stood firmly behind Rasheeda, defending her as the woman who'd endured years of humiliation with grace, saying Jasmine had pushed her too far. Others rallied around Jasmine, claiming she was finally standing up for herself after years of being villainized by the show's edit. Memes, reaction videos, and TikTok breakdowns flooded timelines, turning a personal breakdown into a public spectacle. Even celebrities weighed in, some calling for peace, others fueling the drama for views. Castmates from Love and Hip Hop. Atlanta started dropping cryptic posts, subtweets, and no-names-mentioned comments, all hinting at insider knowledge. The tension online mirrored the chaos from that night, polarizing, loud, and relentless. Fans demanded statements, apologies, and explanations. Old clips resurfaced, interviews were reanalyzed, and every look Rasheeda ever gave Jasmine was reinterpreted as proof of hidden hatred. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was a cultural event. Everyone wanted answers, and neither woman was speaking. The silence made it worse. The world was watching, and both knew that one wrong move, or one revealing post, could change their entire public image forever. As the story snowballed, major blogs and entertainment outlets jumped on it, turning a chaotic moment into a media storm. TMZ, The Shade Room, and Hollywood Unlocked all ran the clip on repeat, with headlines like "Reality Queens Collide," "Frost Family Scandal Reignites," and "What Really Happened That Night." But the real twist came days later, when a leaked voicemail surfaced online. The audio, allegedly from Jasmine to a close friend, revealed her admitting she'd planned to confront Rasheeda, saying, "I needed her to see me, face to face. She can't hide behind cameras forever." The leak changed everything. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. What was seen as a spontaneous meltdown started looking more like a setup. Fans accused Jasmine of staging the drama for clout, while others claimed the voicemail was edited or leaked by production to protect Rasheeda's image. The show's team refused to comment, but insiders whispered that the leak came from within the cast itself. Theories exploded overnight. Who recorded it, who leaked it, and what else was being hidden? The confrontation had become more than just a feud. It was now a full-blown media chess game, and every move was being watched, replayed, and weaponized for clicks. The fallout came fast. Within a week of the viral video, lawyers were involved, statements were drafted, and reputations were on the line. Rasheeda's team filed a formal complaint, citing trespassing and assault, while Jasmine's representatives claimed she'd acted out of emotional distress and provocation. Sponsors began pulling back quietly. Brand deals paused, collaborations postponed. VH1 executives reportedly called emergency meetings to discuss the damage, unsure whether to capitalize on the chaos or contain it. For Jasmine, the silence was unbearable. So she did what many stars do under pressure. She went live. Her Instagram broadcast drew over 300,000 viewers in under an hour. Eyes swollen, voice trembling, she insisted she hadn't meant for things to go that far. But then came her emotional outburst. "Y'all don't know what it's like to be painted as the villain for years. I just wanted her to hear me out." The live went viral instantly, spawning reaction videos and think pieces about accountability and mental health in reality TV. Some viewers sympathized. Others saw it as damage control. But one thing was clear: Jasmine wasn't backing down. Her words reopened old wounds, proving the feud had evolved far beyond gossip. It had become a story about pain, perception, and public judgment. While Jasmine poured her heart out online, Rasheeda chose a different path: silence. No interviews, no posts, no cryptic captions, just stillness. And that silence spoke louder than anything she could have said. Fans called it strategy. Others called it power. Behind the scenes, however, Rasheeda's PR team worked overtime, scrubbing comments, contacting blogs, and negotiating with brands to protect her image. Insiders claimed she was devastated, not just by the betrayal, but by the fact that the entire world had once again been invited into her most personal pain. Meanwhile, Kirk found himself thrust back into the spotlight he'd tried to escape. Old clips of his infidelity resurfaced online, reigniting conversations about loyalty, forgiveness, and hypocrisy. Social media users questioned whether his past actions had indirectly fueled the entire disaster. Kirk, for his part, posted a brief message on his story. "We're praying and focusing on peace." But that only fueled more speculation. Was he defending Rasheeda or hiding guilt? The network's response came last. VH1 released a polished statement expressing deep concern and confirming that an internal review was underway. But industry insiders whispered that the footage from that night, unedited and raw, was being considered for a special episode. Ratings talk had already begun. Because in the world of reality TV, tragedy often translates to views. As the dust began to settle, the bigger question loomed. How much of this was real, and how much had been shaped for the cameras? Was this feud ever about love and betrayal? Or had it evolved into something darker, something manufactured for entertainment at the cost of human pain. And so, as the story stands now, fans are left with unanswered questions and divided loyalties. Was Jasmine truly seeking closure, or was it a setup for fame? Will Rasheeda ever break her silence and tell her side? One thing is certain, this saga isn't over. It's a mirror reflecting how fame, heartbreak, and ego collide in the spotlight. If you followed this story till the end, drop your thoughts below. Was it justice, jealousy, or just show business gone too far? Subscribe, comment, and stay tuned, because the truth behind Atlanta's most explosive feud is still unfolding.